After a poor end to last season and a not so great start to this season, it looks like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time as Manchester United's manager is going to be up. But who is going to replace him? That's what I'm going to discuss in the next few minutes, with 5 potential replacements for the man in the managerial hot seat. First off, and one of the main names who's been linked to replace him, but was also linked to replace Jose Mourinho at the same time last season, was Mauricio Pochettino. He himself is going through a bit of a struggle at Tottenham at the moment, and it looks like Man United may not even have to go through Daniel Levy to get to Pochettino. He may be sacked himself in the next few weeks. That is actually looking pretty unlikely compared to Solskjaer's chances, but if Pochettino did come into Manchester United, would he actually take them back to the top of the Premier League? My instinct tells me yes, he would. They may not make them champions, but certainly back into the top 4. What Pochettino did at Spurs was take a team that definitely hadn't had that kind of experience near the top of the league and take them there, all the way to a Champions League final as well. Just imagine what he could do with the kind of players at Manchester United, plus a board that's actually going to back him in the transfer window. Yes, there have been complaints that they didn't completely back Jose Mourinho, and the transfer business, especially selling a lot of dead wood, isn't on point, but surely it's better than the 18 months that Mauricio Pochettino went through at Spurs, where Daniel Levy decided to sign absolutely nobody. Again, this does seem like a slightly unlikely one because I'm not so sure that Pochettino will be leaving, but it'll be a good choice for Manchester United should it come around. So whilst all you Manchester United fans are salivating at the thought of a new manager, why don't you smash the subscribe button just down there where you guys can have a new subscription in your subscription box. It won't be me talking about Man United all the time, but this surely has got to be more food for thought. Next up is Max Allegri, who after leaving Juventus is still without a club and has been linked with both the Manchester United and the Spurs job within the last few weeks. What he'll bring is a wealth of success. Of course, he won so many titles at Juventus and got them into 2 Champions League finals. The only slight problem with this is that he's a more pragmatic defensive approach as a manager, which may not necessarily be music to the ears of Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Daniel James, and all the other attacking talent at Man United. One of the pluses though, even though his tactics may be a little Jose Mourinho-esque, a bit too defensive and Italian, is the fact that he'll have Paul Pogba under his wing yet again. Pogba played 2 of arguably his best seasons in his career under Max Allegri at Juventus, even getting to the Champions League final on one of those occasions. And if he can sort Pogba out, well, the rest of the team will surely follow, given how much of an influential figure Pogba is in the dressing room. Again, the fact that he's a free agent means they can pretty much talk directly to him, so this one will surely be high on the list should Solskjaer be relieved of his duties. Next up, and another potential manager to take over, could be Thomas Tuchel. Now, I know what you're thinking, he's doing really well at PSG. Well, domestically that is. In the Champions League, he is shouldering much of the blame, much like Neymar is, for PSG failing to get past the quarterfinals in the Champions League. And it looks like if Neymar can't engineer a move out of PSG, well, it may be the manager who leaves instead. What Thomas Tuchel does have on his record is the fact that he's developed unbelievable young players like Ousmane Dembele at Dortmund and Kylian Mbappe at the moment at PSG. Don't get me wrong, both those players will surely be world class even if Tuchel didn't intervene and they were coached by someone else, but the fact he's got that on his CV is pretty good for him. As mentioned before, he had good spells at Dortmund and now winning all these things at PSG, meaning he's actually been in a pretty good position to take over at Manchester United. The one thing that could work against him is that he hasn't necessarily tested himself at a ridiculously pressurised club at the moment, because he's been playing in Liga, where PSG pretty much win everything, and Dortmund, where all they're expected to do is challenge Bayern Munich. Maybe not in the most recent seasons, as they really have got to push them harder, but Tuchel was off on making up again. As mentioned before, it looks like if they don't reach very far in the Champions League this season, Tuchel may be leaving, so maybe Man United will have to hold on a little bit longer if they want to secure that one. So in at number 4, and okay, this is going to be a bit of a long shot, but what if Arsene Wenger took over at Old Trafford? Now, I know loads of Arsenal fans are probably going to be super annoyed at that, but I'm not sure they can begrudge Arsene Wenger for moving on just so quickly. He's been out of a job since leaving the Emirates. He said he wanted to get back into football, and on the basis of Man U and Arsenal's game this year, there's not really much of a rivalry left. When Arsene Wenger in his prime at Arsenal was manager and Alex Ferguson was at Old Trafford, the 2 matches a season used to be phenomenal. You had Keane against Vieira in the midfield, there was Keown versus Van Nistelrooy, in the dugout everything was flying off. But now it really looks like it's not much of a big deal because, let's face it, both of them have got bigger fish to fry. Both of them are trying to take down the leaders at the top of the league and get back into the Champions League. So if Arsene Wenger was to take a few years at Manchester United, I'm not sure Arsenal fans could begrudge him that much. He'll always be a Gunners legend for what he did, and there's no way he's going to spend another 20 years at Man United to outdo that. And lastly but not least, it's another suggestion from within the Premier League, and it's Nuno Santo, the Wolves manager, who has done a stellar job with the Midlands club. Now, many of you may point to the fact that they've had a lot of help from the Portuguese transfer market in sustaining what has been a brilliant top half challenge, but this season things haven't quite gone to plan for Wolves. Last season they finished 7th. They did really well in the FA Cup, especially knocking out Liverpool in the 3rd round. But this season it looks like this has caught up with them, and whether or not Wolves are in the position to sustain this kind of challenge for the top 4, or even the top 6, is yet to be seen. Now, they did have a fantastic win over Manchester City in recent weeks, but I'm not so sure that Santo would stay loyal if a club like Manchester United came calling. You can say that he'd want to stay with the Wolves project and see where it goes, but as I mentioned before, I'm not sure they've got the longevity to be at the top of the game like Manchester United do. There's not throwing any shade on Wolves at the moment. You'll probably say they're in a better position than Manchester United are, but in the long run, as we kind of have to admit, it's just a much bigger club and could be attractive for Santo to move into. So there you have it, 5 potential managers to take over from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But do you agree with any of them? Who would you have had in instead? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Smash the like button and also click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.